back to my YouTube channel. My name is Patricia Chikanda and I'm a law graduate. On today's episode, I have a special guest for you. She will introduce herself in a few minutes, but the point of this episode is to ensure that you guys understand that you're not alone on this journey of trying to secure a job soon after graduation. So basically, the point is to make you understand that all the challenges that you're facing, we are all going through them, and you shouldn't feel depressed or down about it. It's just a journey, it's part of your journey. You will go through it and you will come out stronger than you can imagine. So I'll leave it over to my friend to introduce herself and then we can get started.
Hi guys, it's Mona Lisa Swanda. I'm a Become Accounting graduate and an aspiring CA.
So you understand, I'm a law graduate and she's a BCom accounting student. And guys, it's not just law graduates facing this, it's not just accounting graduates facing this. Almost every graduate is facing challenges of securing jobs soon after graduation. So what really are these postgraduate challenges that we come across that we never would have imagined when we were actually in university?
Basically, not securing a job. We actually think that we'll get to like the job. We'll get a job the moment we get out
Exactly.
of university.
It's not just you as the graduate thinking that soon after university getting a certificate is all you need to get the job. Even families think, you know what, after graduating you just have to send your CV out there and the next thing you are employed and you are free and you're financially stable. But it's not the truth. It's not what is actually happening in our lives. We actually come to realize that the unemployment pool is bigger than we had imagined.
Yeah, there's like no demand and supply. Basically, the supply is a lot, so there's like a whole lot of supply for employees and a lot less job vacancies out there. And having while you're dealing with that, we still have to deal with the fact that they need people who have experience more.
That's the challenge. Like nowadays, instead of just asking you to have the qualification, it becomes even more difficult because they have these extra requirements. Like, do you have your own car or probably your own license? And to be honest, most of graduates are not in a position to afford a car. And then
That's
you are
true.
just there thinking to yourself, in about 90% of the job vacancies that you can apply for, 90% of them, they require you to have your own car. And chances of you getting a car within a year are slim. So now you basically thinking of plan Bs, which is something you were never prepared for when you were still in uni.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
true.
the same with your field?
A car, your own transport basically, and then a driver's license. So you know when you don't have a driver's license, which is something no one tells you, get yourself a driver's license. It becomes a problem. Like, okay, you could have gotten the job, but we need someone with a driver's license.
So that's something graduates
Face.
you have to exactly face. And I think those who are still in university, if you come across this video, please go and do your license because it will come in handy as you start applying for jobs. But then that's not the only issues that we face.
Yeah.
What has also been a challenge to you when it comes to trying to secure a job?
Imagine sending out 100 CVs to 100 different companies and not getting feedback.
That really is harsh. That's really harsh, but it's actually a reality to most of us.
True.
Most of these companies, when they even post their articles, they go on to say, if you don't hear from us within 2 weeks, then automatically your CV was rejected. But then now
Yeah.
you go for months without
That-
receiving anything.
It's worse when you don't get feedback and you're sending hundreds of CVs and nothing, not even a rejection letter.
Imagine that. So now you confused as to, did you put the wrong email address on your CV or a wrong phone number, or was your CV just that bad? Like, it would be better if you could get any form of feedback, be it a rejection or actually an interview, but at least to get
Something.
sort of feedback, it's actually better. So
Yeah.
those are part of the challenges, guys. We are all facing them. I think the other thing is, when you finish school, when you finish uni, you actually then get to realize how big the unemployment pool is, and chances of you being the cream of all the thousands of applicants are very slim. And on top of that, you don't even meet all the requirements.
That's true.
So basically, then now you have to find unique ways to secure an interview or a job. Like for me personally, most of the interviews I've gotten, I didn't go the traditional way of sending out my CV. I would actually, for me in the field, I would actually go to the courts whenever I see advocates or attorneys in their robes. I would approach them and offer volunteer work for a week, just to create that form of friendship or relationship, so that it could be easy for me to get a connection in the field. So in that process, you actually manage to actually ask those guys you've created a relationship with to help you get a job or an interview, because now at least you have a connection that can work out something in the industry, because they know a lot of people. So I think you come to a point where you realize that you're not part of the cream, because mind you, we all want to be employed in the big 5 companies of our fields, but then you then understand that there are kids who passed with cum laude, there are kids who already have their own cars, which is something you don't have, there are kids who know different languages, which comes in handy. So basically, going through this process in the traditional way it won't work for you. So you come to realize that you have to be unique in doing
Creative about it.
Yeah, be creative about it.
Yeah, and now you know, with all of that you get demoralized.
Very much.
Yeah, you get super demotivated. So which is like a step into depression actually. Because the moment you start feeling like you have failed and everything, then everything just takes a step back.
Exactly.
So I think that it's one of the things that we go through. It's part of the journey, but then we have to go through it and come out of it. But then without actually slipping into depression.
True.
Yeah.
But also that comes because there's so many expectations from the society, from the family, and expectations from us as individuals. So I think you should give yourself a pass that some of these things you really don't have control over them. You just can only do your part and hope that someone will actually give you a chance by offering you a job at least.
Yeah, that's true. That really is true. And actually, like getting to understand and getting some understanding and understanding. Sometimes we're just frustrated with our lives, and some people are also frustrated with our lives to an extent. We're feeling too much pressure. Sometimes it's just a matter of just making sure you don't put so much pressure on yourself, and understand things will happen at their own time.
True. Okay, now the problem is just not in actually securing an interview. What are some of the struggles you actually face when you get the interview?
the actually getting to the interview. You're unemployed, you don't have money. So having to go from it, depending on where you're going, it doesn't matter if it's out of the city or it's within the city that you stay in.
You're unemployed.
You're unemployed.
So
you don't have an
everything
income.
counts.
You don't have an income. So sometimes you just get there and then you realize this one-on-one could have been done via Zoom.
Exactly, and I think it's quite harsh because now, as unemployed graduates, you basically not financially stable.
That's true.
So you try by all means to impress the interviewer. Get a loan to get to the place. Probably buy an outfit you think it's appropriate, only for you to get to an interview, and then they basically scrutinize what's on your CV, and you just feel like it was really pointless for me to come here.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think it's harsh, but you know what? You walk out of it smiling because at least there's progress. You secured the interview, though it didn't go as planned, but it's something someone saw your CV and they thought you were quite worthy of coming for the interview.
Yeah,
But guys,
true.
we all go through that. Do not give up. Don't give up. Don't feel down about it. Just be grateful that at least you were acknowledged. And then there's also, have you ever felt like giving up? Because I've felt like giving up
1,000 times.
What had happened?
1,000 times. Like you go for sometimes you go for an interview and then you come back and then it's like, no, we'll give you feedback after 2 weeks. Né? And then when you're coming back, it's like 2 weeks have passed. So in your mind, yeah, it's I didn't get the part. Okay, it's fine. But then the fact that it makes you feel like you're not good enough.
Have you ever actually called them? They say we'll call you back after a certain time. Have you actually called them in case they haven't reached out?
I actually usually make an effort, call them after the 2 weeks have passed, just to get where I went wrong.
Okay.
Sometimes you
So
need that.
do they actually tell you?
No,
where
they
you went?
do.
Okay, that's
They
pretty
do.
awesome.
They keep. Some companies keep like the notes they take during your interview to say, no, you didn't get the job. We were looking for someone with a license. Since you didn't have a license, then we couldn't hire you.
Okay.
Or maybe your skills are good, but then you lack experience. We're not looking for someone who we are going to have to teach from the beginning. We want someone who already knows what they have to be doing. So it's one of like when you call, they give you feedback. Some companies do. I don't know about others.
Okay.
Yeah. But then at the end of all that, you actually do feel a bit down. You feel like you can give up, and
Yeah, but
it's never the answer.
when what's yours comes, it won't pass you. But besides that, now I'm sure you also face personal issues, from pressures from the society and family. What has been your experience when it comes to you just staying at home and not getting the job? What have been these challenges to you?
Being the whole point being an unemployed graduate. Remember, you're going through the motions, and then someone is actually in their own way. They care, and in their own way they're being supportive. In this time, the one thing that you need the most is support. But remember, there is a difference between getting support you need and getting support they can give.
Okay.
And our families, they give you support the best way they know how. But then you need support in the way that you need it. and it's different for everyone else. So I think taking a step back and understanding them and understanding yourself. So walking in their shoes as well
is
a requirement, because then you won't be as frustrated as you can be.
True that, because I believe it's our journey of realizing that it's not all rosy like we imagined when we were still in school. Same applies to families. They also had expectations that soon after university you are going to just send out your CVs and apply the job. But because this is not their journey they are walking in, they cannot let go of those expectations. With you specifically, you do get to realize that actually this is not going to work. I'd rather take a turn and do this and that for me to achieve my goals. Whereas with family, because they are not part of that journey, they are not going through what you're going through, it's hard for them to accept that probably the pool is too huge, because in their eyes you're the only one in the pool of unemployment.
That's true.
You see, so but then you should give them a pass, because all they wish for is the best for you. You understand?
Yeah, that's you can all hope for.
So, with that being said, I understand you faced all of these challenges and at some point you felt like giving up. What would be your advice to someone who's going through the same kind of phases and who is at a point where they kind of like wants to give up? What would be your advice?
Okay, my advice for everyone who is going through this and who is going to go through this is, when you're feeling like giving up, you're almost at the end of the race. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, guys. It might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, it might take months. It's different for everyone, but then don't give up. Do not give up. And at the same time, stick to your guns. Don't lose your faith in yourself. And don't lose your faith in your journey and your goal. Because your goal is still there. How you get there is upon the fact that you make it or break it. It's up to you. That one is up to you. Keep on keeping on, yeah. And at the same time, whatever you believe in, religious wise, stick with it. It will work for you. It works for you because you believe in it. If you pray and do not stop praying.
True, that's true. For me, basically, it's understanding that everything happens for a reason. I'm actually grateful for my journey, in as much as it is tough. I am grateful because it gives me the exposure. I won't say it's nice to be in a position where you cannot afford what you want, or you are free to actually afford anything. But all I'm saying is understand that with every challenge that you're facing, you're actually growing. Yet I actually acquired articles of clerkship soon after graduating. I wouldn't have known things that I know now. I wouldn't have attempted opening my own company. I wouldn't have attempted doing online teaching. I wouldn't have attempted a lot of side hustles that I'm doing, which are things that I can still do even when I acquire articles of clerkship. So that becomes an advantage, because it's like, okay, on top of the money I'll make when I secure a job, I'll still have these side hustles bring in cash. So you just have to be grateful for your journey and all that you're learning out of it. So basically, for me, it's being grateful for the journey, be it hard or simple. Be grateful for it,
and go through it.
Go through it.
Go through the emotions. Go through everything.
Allow yourself.
If you feel like crying, cry.
Cry.
But then wake up the next morning. Dust yourself off. It's a new day.
Exactly.
We all have 24 hours in a day. What you do with your 24 hours is up to you.
Exactly.
So if you want to sleep it off, sleep it off. But then if you feel like I've slept enough,
then
let me dust myself off and get up.
True that you don't have to dismiss your feelings, they are indeed valid, and you're going through the emotions, you are going through the struggles. It's not like you're imagining that things are tough. They are indeed tough, but then feeling sorry for yourself for a very long time will not improve you. You need to take charge of your life and make decisions that will help improve it. Okay, guys, from us, that's it for today. I hope you tune in next time. Please do subscribe and like the video. Bye.